Hang on here. Now my voice is going to be weird. Good morning, beloveds. Yeah, maybe I'll have a voice. I was exhausted last night. I logged into the Philosophy Friday and was in it for maybe 15 minutes. And I think I turned my camera off because I was sitting at a weird angle. And I went to look something up. And I woke up at 9:22 plus and went, oh. Fortunately, my video was off and my sound was off, so they didn't hear me snoring and they didn't see me sleeping. I hope they didn't call on me, because if they did, I never responded because I was out cold. But, and I went to bed. Well, no, I fell asleep on the couch. And then went to bed. And then I think I just woke up exhausted. But it was a really heavy week. We had a huge order come in. And at work that took us literally all week to do, along with all the regular stuff that goes on during the week. But I also had a really amazing day in the park because the Blue Jays came to play, and so did the woodpeckers. We got to see, and we think that there was, we think it's fledgling season because there was a woodpecker who could knock it out of the air, but then just didn't go down to the ground for it. And we were like, that's a little odd. Okay. And then, there were a whole lot of Blue Jays, and there was a couple of them that were sitting in the tree and they were doing the feed me sound. And I was like, I think we have fledglings. I think we have babies that are, babies, they're as big as the adults now, learning to, learning how to feed themselves. So, but yeah, it was a good day in the park. Yeah, it was hot. Like at 7 o'clock this morning, it was 82 degrees with a feels like of 90. But it's mid-July, so what am I expecting, right? Okay, we are doing Living the Science of Mind. So let's do the housekeeping really quick, because frankly, today the title is longer than the article, or than the essay. So the housekeeping is simply me reminding you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. The website is creativelife.org. The constant contact is email is info@creativelife.org. If you will email that and indicate that you want on the constant contact, you get one email a week. The hot links are hot. So if it says click here now, it means it. It'll take you right to the information or the person that can help you get it. It tells you what's going on for the week and the month. And it is a blind CC. There is nobody will see your email. Nobody's going to get your email from us. And like I said, you get one email a week. It's a real person doing it. He doesn't have time for more than that, unless something unusual happens. Because I will remind you, we do live in hurricane country. So, all right. And then the last thing we want to talk about, just really briefly, is the social media. Okay. We do not monetize the social media. We don't give them money. We don't ask you to give them money. But what we do ask you to do is, because we don't want to deal with the ads. You don't want to deal with the ads. We don't want to deal with the ads. So what we ask you to do instead is to go ahead and like and subscribe and follow based on which platform you're on. Like on YouTube, if you subscribe, it'll notify you when we upload new videos. And I think if there's you can click notifications on Facebook and it'll notify you when we go live, like now. And then you can also engage with the posts. So you can react to the posts, and there are words that are coming out of my mouth. You can react to the post, share the post, and comment on the posts. That helps us out, so we appreciate it. All right. I think that's everything. Sorry. I didn't want to be distracted by how dry my lips were. Let's talk about the book. So all of these essays, except for two, were drawn from the at-home course, which was at the back of the Science of Mind magazine, which you would mail off for, and then they would mail you a lesson a week for 48 weeks. Now, my pet theory is that people would read the textbook and they would come to the lectures and then they would have questions, which then evolved. So Ernest would answer the questions, which evolved into the take-home course, which eventually evolved into the book. Again, my pet theory. I have no proof, but it's what I'd do if I read the text message. I'd have questions. So, and this book, that's what this book is. It answers a lot of questions. We are currently in the little section. They didn't label it. They just kind of grouped them together, as to what they were. So we're in the section about treatment. Because our title today, and like I said, it's pretty much longer than the article. Today and tomorrow are literally pages. So, our title today is Right Thought Will Always Externalize Itself. So, all right. Whew. Oh, deep breath. Deep breath. Maybe I'll take a drink of water just in case. All right. Right thought will always externalize itself. Every treatment should be a law unto itself. When you give a treatment, you must know that your word is the law unto the thing which is spoken. Since we are dealing with a mental or a spiritual principle, it follows that the one using this principle must do so mentally. Their operation is a thing of thought. Therefore, their thought can have only as much power as they know it to have. Words of doubt have no affirmative power. We must know that our treatment is a good treatment, a successful treatment, certain to accomplish. Every word you speak is the presence, the power, and the activity of the law within you. It is the law unto the thing whereof you speak. It cannot and will not return unto you void. Which, by the way, is a Bible quote. I did not know that. Because I'd heard Jesse say that a lot. He talks about your word not returning to you void. And then one day I came across, I think it was in the Science of Mind text, and Ernest told me where in the Bible he got it from, which now I don't remember. But I was like, oh, it's your word will not return unto you void came from the Bible. I did not know that. It was shocking when I figured it out. Okay, sorry, back to the reading. Let me start over again. It cannot and will not return unto you void, but will accomplish the purpose you have in mind. It can and will heal and demonstrate. It can and will produce the desired result. You are not willing this to be so. You are merely having a willingness that it be so. And that is really important. Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. I like to talk about white knuckling. When we white knuckle things is when we are using our own willpower, which will only get us so far. You know, we only have so much willpower. But what Ernest is talking about is being willing, meaning allowing the power that exists to flow through you. You are not willing it to happen. You are being willing to have it happen through you. You are not the one who is powering this thing. That power is coming from an infinite source that will never run out, which is why it's much more likely to happen than if you try to, what I like to call, white knuckle it. Okay? Very important distinction between using your willpower, between you willing it to happen and you being willing for it to happen. Okay? Huge difference. And a lot less effort. A willingness to believe. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that line again because it's such a good one. You are not willing this to be so. You are merely having a willingness that it should be so. A willingness to believe. There must be a persistent belief in the power of your word. You must know that the law of good is all powerful and that no evil is ordained or intended. You must realize that your knowledge of the law of good dissipates all evil and all manifestation of evil. Let me remind you right here, evil is not a thing, a person, or a place. Evil is not a thing of it in of itself. Evil is a misuse of, okay? It is not a thing. It is not a person. It is not a place. It is not a thing in and of itself. It is merely a misuse of power. At which point you can make a different choice. And it will dissipate. Okay. Sometimes a lot of people have to make a different choice for it to dissipate, but that's the way it works. Okay. You must know that right thought will always find an objective form and will always externalize itself. You must believe the will of God is always towards goodness, truth, and beauty. Goodness, truth, and beauty cannot be reversed because they have no opposites. But your knowledge of the truth can reverse every so-called law of evil. All right? So he starts off by telling you every treatment should be a law. That you shouldn't doubt your treatments. And one of the things is like, so then you do your treatment and you're sitting on your hands and you're like, okay, now what? You don't do the treatment again. You don't redo the treatment. What you do is you treat the treatment. You treat your belief in the treatment. You treat yourself to know that it was a fantastic treatment, that it was an amazing treatment, and that it is coming to pass. You know, you don't say it will come to pass. You say it is now, come to pass. It is. It's happening now. That's why we treat in the present, not in the future, because if we treat in the future, it's never going to get here because the future never gets here. All we have is the present. So you treat. You treat for the present and you treat from the presents. Yeah. Look at me being clever there. All right. And that's it. Real short one. Tomorrow's even shorter. Tomorrow's even shorter. Tomorrow is direction and intention. And it's like 2 paragraphs. So we'll do that. But now I'm going to wrap this up and go watch some Scooby-Doo. Bad Scooby-Doo, but still Scooby-Doo. I guess there's no such thing as bad Scooby-Doo. There's just better Scooby-Doo. And now I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a take care of business day, a you got this day, a take a break day, a take a nap day, a have a catter day. I'm going to have a catter day. I'm going to cuddle with my fur babies. So I encourage you to cuddle with your fur babies day. A listen to some amazing music day. A wrap up whatever you got to wrap up day. A tell somebody you love them day. A good day. And if that is too much pressure, and I do understand, because occasionally it is, simply have a day. You are enough. Just as you are. You're a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark, spirit in motion, God in action, a beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time, at your own pace. And as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. All right. And I say a brilliant light. And that comes from the sometimes if you can't see the light, it's a reminder that you may be the light in the room. And I say a beautiful masterpiece because sometimes we're like a butterfly. We have absolutely beautiful wings that we can't see ourselves, but everybody else can see them. So it's a reminder to you that you are both beautiful and brilliant, even when you don't see it, especially when you don't see it. You always are. All right. So explore the truth of your being. Get to know the divine. Get to know who the divine knows you to be. You can get to know the divine too. That's a good thing. Get to know who the divine knows you to be, because the divine knows you to be good. And from there, anything is possible. Anything at all is possible. All right, beloveds. I'm going to move into the process of my day, whatever that looks like, which, like I said, means watching a little Scooby-Doo. So I'm going to remind you, Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you, and I should be back with you. I don't have anything. I don't go to right, because it's summer. I'm not going to the gym on Sundays, but I still may come do this around 8:45 before I wash this mess. So take care of yourself. I'll either see you at 8:45 or 9:15. Either way, I'll be there. So whatever. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.